Balloon Beats.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, you guys know the deal by now. I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined tonight by a special guest. We got Kyle Condor at John Boy Media. How we doing, Kyle?
I'm pretty good, man. Dude, every time that intro's going, it gets me so pumped. Like,
Bro,
I feel like we're mid-baseball season right now after watching all those highlights and stuff like that. So,
did you see what someone in the chat said? They feel like I'm on a call on hold. I can see that. I can see that, like when you call Verizon, except you're waiting for us to go live.
Yeah. You know what's going on. Like,
yeah. Listen. So in the past couple days, like Yankees traded for Tyone, big news. But last night we got even better news. Not really good news, actually. Masahiro Tanaka.
Larger news,
even larger news, not good news. Masahiro Tanaka is very likely going back to Japan. Listen, I was one of the people who said after the Yankees traded for Tyone, I thought it was all but certain. Even after they kind of signed Kluber, I think it was almost certain that Tanaka was going to be going back to Japan. And listen, it hurts. I think that both of us can agree Masahiro Tanaka's time in New York is going to be very much appreciated, and it's going to be remembered for a very long time. So listen, I think we should just start off this conversation tonight just by looking back on Masahiro Tanaka. I think it was 7 years, a 7-year contract with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2015.
So looking back on the 7-year contract, I guess I'll start off with my opinion. I thought the Yankees got everything they could have ever imagined from Masahiro Tanaka, from great playoff performances to pitching through a brutal injury, a ticking time bomb, a lot of people called it. I think that this man was the definition of a Yankee and showed the Yankees nothing but loyalty and heart throughout his entire time in New York.
Dude, Tanaka's so good. Like you said, you kind of saw it coming, especially when they signed Kluber. When they signed Taillon or traded for Taillon, it was said and done. So we knew this news was coming. Obviously, nothing's official yet. I think the best thing about it is that he's going back to Japan because, one, you can be happy for him. The dude's going home. He clearly loves Japan. You see all the content he posts in the offseason, and it's like this guy just loves to be there. And two, now we don't have to see him pitch in another uniform or, God forbid, against the Yankees. Like, can you imagine if he ended up with Toronto?
Oh, don't even say that.
And then circling back to what you said, dude, obviously worth every penny. I think it was 7 years, 150 million or something like that.
Right around that range, yeah.
And is he a Hall of Famer? No. Did he win a World Series? No. But baseball's a team sport, so you can't put that all on him. He had some insane playoff performances. But I've been digging through highlights because, I do the Talkin' Yanks social media posts and stuff like that, and I put together a little montage of them already. I'm gonna drop that as soon as we get like official news
Yeah.
about where whatever's happening with him. And you just look at some of his highlights, and man, the dude's a gamer. Like that dude put everything into that contract the Yankees gave him. Like you could tell he really wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, man. It's a business. It's the same thing with the Ottavino news. Obviously, it's a whole other topic, but we didn't have any problems with like Ottavino the person. We liked Ottavino. Obviously, he struggled in the playoffs, but he had some really good moments as a Yankee. Not quite the Yankee that Tanaka was, but like hometown kid, all this stuff. It's a business, bro, at the end of the day. And you look at the two guys we got in Kluber and Paxton, and the two guys we lost in – I'm sorry, Kluber and Tyone, and the two guys we lost in Tanaka and Paxton, and you're kind of like, okay, that's fine. You know, baseball-wise, that's fine. As much as we're going to miss Tanaka, the human being, you got to be happy for him that he's going back to Japan, and you got to just be thankful for all he gave us in the 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you could really say. I mean, going back to what you said about how it kind of feels better that he's going back to Japan rather than being like the Blue Jays, I mean, that just goes to show like the loyalty of the dude. Like he was nothing but loyal to the Yankees this whole time. He's like, I don't want to pitch for another team. Like I'll just go back to Japan. And also it's because I'm assuming he's going to get a lot more money and security there to go back home.
Yeah, that's obviously part of it.
Yeah, that's obviously part of it as well. But yeah, listen, Tanaka, there's nothing else to listen. Entering the contract, a lot of people were expecting him to kind of be like that 24-0, 1.27 ERA guy in the United States. We all knew that wasn't really possible.
Yeah.
But I think we could say that he did live up to expectations. But it is kind of disappointing how his Yankee career did end, and the fact that he never got to pitch in a World Series for New York. That sucks. And also, I think it's pretty crazy thinking about because postseason Tanaka was something that we loved. Everyone loved it. He was probably the best Yankees postseason pitcher since Pettit, I guess a lot of people could say. And it's unfortunate that the 2020 postseason was probably the worst postseason we've seen from Tanaka as a Yankee. And it sucks to see that because, listen, deep down in my heart, I feel like if we saw like typical playoff Tanaka this past postseason, I think the Yankees might have been more energized to bring him back under any circumstances.
I'm trying to remember what were the games that he started against Tampa.
It was it game 3?
So wild card game 2, which he was horrible because
there was the rain. Yeah.
Or that they made him pitch in the pouring rain. And then the Yankees came to bat and they called it. It was like, are you kidding me? So, like, you can't be that mad at him for that one, but he was bad. And then he pitched ALDS game 3 and let up 5 earned in 4 innings. This dude let up 11 earned in 8 innings this year.
Yeah.
He let up 11 earned runs in 2 starts this postseason. Bro, he had 8 postseason starts before that. In all of those, just 9 earned runs.
Unbelievable.
So he let up more earned runs in 2 starts this postseason than he had in 4 other postseasons combined.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just like it sucks to see, but listen, like no one's untouchable. Like we saw, like Madison Bumgarner had his streak, and then Jake Arrieta launches one off of him. Like it's baseball, it happens. Yep. But the way I look back at Tanaka, it's very similar to the way I look at guys like Didi and even Brett Gardner to a point. I appreciate their time with the organization heavily, but I do think there does, like you said, it's a business. There comes a time and a place where we have to like detach the emotional part to these players and just move on, like logistically wise. Like personally, like if Brett Gardner does decide to sign elsewhere this offseason, I would probably view it the same way as Tanaka. Listen, I respect the time with the organization.
I have a question for you as far as the Gardner stuff is concerned. And obviously I edit the Talking Yanks episodes and stuff like that. So a lot of what I get is like their opinions, and I kind of like do what I want with them. But obviously those guys are smart. So they raised a good point. If the Yankees don't have Brett Gardner back, who else can play center field? Greg Allen?
You know, that's a good question.
Mike Hoffman, which he was horrible last year.
But you know what sucks about that question is that like Hicks is such a question mark still.
That's
like
what
the fact that we even have to think about that. Like it sucks. But yeah, listen, I'm assuming maybe you would try Clint out in center.
Oh,
Um, maybe.
that would be wild. If
Yeah,
it
I
worked
mean,
out, that would be really fun. That's for sure.
and
I,
then I mean the Yankees have some outfield depth now. They traded for Brito. They also have Talkman, who I don't think they're like counting him out yet. And then they also have Greg Allen. So I think there's options. Obviously not as reliable as Brett Gardner, but
yeah,
they definitely do have some options. Also Florial, I don't know how high they still are on him, but
yeah.
he's still an option too. I don't know.
I saw a lot of Florial in the Dominican League this winter. I was keeping up with that because Gary Sanchez and Miguel Andujar, Domingo Herman, Davy Garcia were over there, and Esteban Florial was over there, and I was just like this dude wasn't standing out at all. Like
Yeah.
he looked like some guy like the rest of the guys I've never heard of that were playing over there.
Yeah.
So
I want to pull this comment up really quick about Gardy. Andrew says, remember you had to dump a bottle of water on yourself if Brett Gardner hit a home run. I don't know if you remember this, but game one of the wild card series, I was kind of pissed that Brett Gardner was starting over Clint. So I'm like, you know what? If Gardner hits a home run tonight, because I know he won't, I'm dumping a bottle of water on my head on the post game. Of course, what does this do? Like, what does Brett Gardner do? Right? It's a home
you're
run
talking
in
about
center
this
field.
past postseason.
This pass against Cleveland. I mean, I'm like, come on, bro.
Why were you doubting him so hard?
That's I don't know. And then the same exact thing happened. I think it was the game one of the ALDS with Higgy. I'm like, there's no way Higgy goes yard tonight. I'm like, if he goes yard, I'm dumping a bottle of water on my head. And there he goes. Listen, it's a good jinx. It's a good jinx.
Yankees this year were a pretty inconsistent team offensively. Like, dude, they started hot, then they like lost 10 games in a row, and then they ended hot. And obviously, in the short season that it was, that like makes up the entire year right there.
Yeah.
Good start, bad middle, good end, decent playoffs, heartbreaking finish. And Gardy was one of those guys that's like every time he came to bat, you didn't really doubt him, but like you didn't know what you were going to get because like for a stretch, he was really good. Like his season ended and his OPS plus was 108. So he was above league average and his WAR was 0.7. So over 162 games, you times that by 3, 2.1 WAR. If we get that out of Gardy this upcoming season, I take that any day of the week. Like I said that right now. So he was pretty good, dude. And same with Higgy. Like Cole loves Higgy. So you gotta love that. Like if Cole loves a player, like he loves Jameson Tyone, bring him on. Like Cole says it, we'll take him.
Yeah.
Same way with Higgy. So just those are just happen to be the two guys you mentioned.
Yeah, no, I mean, going back to the whole Gardner thing really quick, because listen, it's a very controversial topic among Yankee fans this offseason. It's like you either really want Gardner back or you really don't want him back. So I guess I'll ask you, would you want Brett Gardner back? And if so, like, what would the contract terms like that you would be happy with?
It's funny. We just talked about this in the office today. I was talking about it. You know, Joe's McFly.
Yeah.
So Joe's set the bar at $5 million. He said if they go over $5 million, he's going to be like, yeah.
I agree.
Like, that would mean that they traded Otto to make room for Gardy at that point. Which, in that case, it's like, dude, I might have rather just had like Greg Allen and Otto instead of no Otto and Gardy over Greg Allen. Mm-hmm. So I'm setting the bar at $5 million. Like I would hope that the deal comes out and it's like 1 year, $3 million. That's like a fantasy world. Mm-hmm. I think it's more realistically to be like 1 year, $5 million, and anything over that, it's like, bro, come on, like,
you gotta move on. For me, it's that, and it's also that I don't want to see Brett Gardner taking at bats away from Clint Frazier at all, because I think Clint Frazier is the left fielder of the future. This man needs to be playing every day on opening day. Yeah, Clint's a dude.
If Clint comes out next year and he's an all-star, I'm not shocked at all.
Yes. Listen, I've been saying it all offseason. I think Clint Frazier is the most underrated bat in the Yankees lineup right now. When he's on, we're talking about like potentially one of the hottest hitters in the game. And a lot of people doubt that.
I could see by like June, Clint Frazier batting like 5th in the Yankees order.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. That's why when I look at Gardner, I'm like, look, like I understand like his time might be up, but then again, if I would love for him to sign like a Ryan Zimmerman type deal. Zimmerman just signed a 1 year, $1 million contract to stay with the Nationals. If Gardner did that and just to be like a bench role and like have some depth, I would love that. I would have no complaints. But then when we're talking like 1 year, 5 million, and maybe he's like taking some at bats away from Frazier, and we traded Otto just to do that, then that's when I start getting a little iffy on the situation.
I agree with that. Gardner has to be a backup. Like, has to be a backup. The thing is, you're gonna need backups. Like we say the Yankees deal with injuries, which obviously they deal with a lot more injuries than other teams, but every single team is gonna have an injury. And you've got 3 different outfielders. Brett Gardner could mix and match, so you can put him in the lineup and put anybody else in the other outfield positions. So he is a really good backup. But like you said, you hope that they don't give him the type of contract that says this guy's going to be playing in 140 games next season.
Don't say that, Kyle. Kyle, give me a heart attack.
I know. So, but he is good, man. Like he's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. Like, give me him over Greg Allen, Socrates, Brito, and Tauchman any day of the week. I had really high hopes for Tauchman after the first season that he had before he got hurt that year. So I feel bad like slandering him.
Yeah.
But he was so bad last year.
Oh, I know.
That it's hard to even think that he's an option. And unless they go some other route, like I don't want them to do the Jock Peterson thing. You know,
a lot of people are talking about that.
I know,
I'm not a fan either.
annoying. Like, what do the Yankees have left now? Like 11 million or something like that.
About
like,
that, yeah.
Don't give Jock Peterson the last 11 million because, dude, if you deep dive into the stats, like, is Jock Peterson better than Brett Gardner? Like, sure, he's younger, like he's got more potential, like he crushes right-handed pitching, but again, man, like you don't want them to give everything they just lost Otto for, because I would rather have had Otto and Greg Allen instead of Jock Peterson over Greg Allen and no Otto. Like,
yeah, and honestly, we could
better than Gardy.
Yeah, we could honestly kind of touch on the Otto trade real quick too, because I woke up, what was it, Sunday when the Otto trade happened? Sunday morning?
Yes, that was out of nowhere. Yeah, that was right before the football game started.
Yeah, so listen, I woke up and I checked our Unhinged group chat and I had like 100 unread messages. I'm like, all right, like something's going down. And Otto traded to the Red Sox. Listen, I thought that there was a chance Otto was going to be dealt this offseason, but I didn't think to the Red Sox of all teams, like at all.
Dude.
And then also the fact that I don't know how to feel about the deal yet, because if the Yankees don't go out and get another reliever like Trevor Rosenthal or a Shane Green or just someone down that alley, then I think it's a bad idea. But I think it's a good idea if they do end up getting one of those guys, because I just don't want to go into this season just with a bunch of unproven bullpen arms. You know what I mean?
I agree. So what the Yankees have a lot of right now is guys who could potentially start games. For all we know, the Yankees are about to do some crazy analytic shit. And now I'm really going outside the box. But, dude, I made this graphic the other day that shows all the starters the Yankees have. They've got like 10 guys who could start. So if you could make like 3 of them a solid reliever, then like, you know, we're all sitting here. Remember that time we thought we needed a reliever, and now it's Clark Schmidt, Michael King, and Domingo Germán are like good relievers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay. Like we were stressing all offseason, and look what these guys turned into, because we can't make all 10 of those guys starters. So you got to find some role for them. So for all we know, the Yankees traded Otto, and their plan is to make like 3 of these guys we see as potential starters some sort of solid reliever, which I wouldn't hate that, but like you said, they're all unproven. So it would be like Jimmy and Jay keep saying Cole and the question marks, like it's Garrett Cole and a bunch of guys we have no clue what they are capable of. It would be the same thing if you stuck like it sounds awfully nice thinking that Clark Schmidt could be like a 7th inning guy because he's got that kind of stuff. But who the hell are we to know whether or not Clark Schmidt could do something like that, or Domingo Germán, or Julius Yassin or something.
Yeah, right.
But he's got to be there.
I think it's not really a bad problem to have right now. I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but I've kind of been saying it a few times this offseason. I think that when Sevy does come back, I think there could be a potential. I think you know what I'm going to say. Could be potential for him to be thrown in the bullpen. Listen, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially in the postseason. If you could, because I don't think the Yankees are going to try to push Sevy to his limit right when he comes back, right? And listen,
I hate to
think
put the thought in my head because it like sounds like it's something that could be happening.
I think that it might be going through their heads only because Sevy, they still have faith in him moving forward and they don't want his arm to fall off. So if you throw him in the bullpen for the postseason as like a 2, maybe 3 inning guy,
So you
I
see
think that
Sevy's
could shut the
2021 season being one where they like baby him.
I think it might be, especially considering like
It makes
the
too much sense.
Kings, the Hermans, the Loizagas, the Schmidts, the Devies. I
Yeah.
think it's possible.
It makes too much sense, bro. And like,
And it's not like Sevy doesn't have bullpen experience.
I wouldn't be happy if that's what ended up happening, unless Sevy's like this ridiculous, like Josh Hader, like level reliever. Like, sure, why not? Like, I'll take that. Like, if it works out, I won't be too mad. I'd much rather it work out where Sevy comes back and he's like a solid number 2 starter. But that's like a perfect world.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, one of Sevy, Kluber, or Tyone has to be a number 2 starter. Like it.
I know.
Like I'm not just saying it has to be that way because that's what we want. I'm saying it has to be that way because these are talented guys. Like one of the 3 has to work out that way.
Yeah.
Ideally, 2 of the 3 works out that way, or all 3 is like fantasy world. And we go through this every year as Yankees fans. We think like we've got this pitching rotations ready to go, and by August we're like, here we go again. Like, who the hell is this guy starting a game? Like,
let's play a little game, Kyle. Let's play a game. Over under 40 starts combined for Kluber and Tyone. It's a tough one.
I say, oh, bro, that's tough. I almost wanted to say I want to say yes because I see one of them getting a lot and the other one not getting a lot.
It could go that way.
I don't think it's humanly possible for either of them to get 30. Like,
yeah, I don't think so.
The starts is like 33-ish, right?
Yeah, the Yankees won't let that happen, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think their agents and like their
no.
trainers would let that happen after being out for so long. So, dude, under, because a perfect world, one of them starts 25, the other one starts 15. But again, like, I'm saying that's a perfect world. Like that's me saying one of them's healthy for 80% of the season, the other one's healthy for half the season. And
yeah,
I that's why the line you set is perfect because that sounds right. Mm-hmm. I just see one of them just being like a mess.
Yeah,
like one of them's just gonna miss a ton of time.
I hope not. And
I hope not either. Obviously,
yeah. I mean, when I did live streams for when Kluber and Tyone were both acquired, and it was really interesting because the chat, they're 50-50 split on it. You got a lot of people saying, yes, great low risk, high reward moves. But then you also got other people saying, like, when are the Yankees finally just going to get like legitimized arms? Because now it's like, I don't want to say they're shopping in the bargain bin, but they're doing like these smart moves that they're paying low and they're hoping it can pay off.
Gold.
What happened?
The signing was beautiful.
Yes, that's it. It's one of those things. It could either work out like the DJ acquisition, the Voit acquisition, the Urshela acquisition, or it could be like a Tulo or like I don't know. Give me another one.
You're saying what Kluber could be?
Which side he could land on? So he could either be like a really good low risk guy, like a Voit or Urshela or DJ, or it can end up being like a bad low risk, like a Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with what they did with Kluber is they gave him $11 million. Like,
yeah,
that's not pennies and nickels. That's
but then again,
million.
Hap
Guaranteed.
got 8.
What?
Hap got 8.
Yes.
So when you put it in like those comparisons, like 11 million is not that bad. I think Quintana got 11 million too, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Quintana's been more healthy than Kluber.
Yeah,
he's also not a 2-time Cy Young winner. Hap's contract came when the market was better. So times are tough right now because we don't know whether or not we're even going to be playing baseball on time, which I hate saying that out loud.
Oh, don't say that, Kyle.
I know,
You're killing me.
I'm sorry. Like even back when like COVID was fresh, which Dan Rourke and I were all over the we're playing train. So now I would think that we're going to be all right, especially because all the other sports figured it out. That letter came out the other day that says everything's good. Now I'm going off on a whole nother tangent. But, dude, what was your original point? Oh, what do I think Kluber's going to end up like?
Yeah, do you think he's going to be like a good low risk or a bad low risk?
Compare him to Luke Voigt and Gio because we got those guys for like pennies and nickels, dude. Like,
it's true.
It's tough because the one day it was like the day after Kluber signed, and I posted a tweet to Talking Yanks, and I said, let's hope Kluber doesn't end up like one of these guys. And it was Ichiro, Pudge, Lance Berkman, and Kevin Youkilis. Those were the four.
Berkman wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad.
Well, Berkman, listen, Ichiro wasn't that bad. That was
he wasn't.
I mean, go look at Berkman, and you'll backtrack on that. What Berkman?
Do you know why I think that? I think because whenever I picture Lance Berkman, I picture I think it was the 2010 ALDS against Minnesota. He had like a big game or something.
Yeah, see, I don't remember that, to be honest. And I remember a lot of things, but that one's not too much on my memory. Dude, Lance Berkman was horrid for the Yankees in the regular season. Then he leaves, goes to St. Louis, and finishes 7th in MVP voting the next year.
Yes, that's right, because he won the World Series with the Cardinals in 2011.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he had a hell of a postseason. 5 games with the Yankees. It looks like he played 1 ALDS game, went 2 for 4 with a homer and a double, and then he started in 4 ALCS games and was pretty good. Okay, so his regular season stats were terrible. Yeah. But now we're really off on like deep.
we're off the deep end.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fun stuff. That's like fun rabbit. Everybody's talking about all this like mainstream stuff. Like let's talk about Lance Berkman on the Yankees.
But also, I mean, like since we're off the deep end now, so might as well just stay over there.
Sure.
But like I think it's interesting how we look back on like certain Yankees careers, and everyone has like a different thought process on their time in New York. Like if you mention the name AJ Burnett to somebody, a lot of people think he was quality. But I mean, even I did for a while too. But I went back and looked at AJ Burnett's stats with the Yankees.
He certainly wasn't worth the money.
What happened?
It wasn't worth the money.
Definitely not. I mean, I believe he had like over a 4 ERA every year.
His career with the Yankees, was 4.79 ERA in 600 innings pitched over 3 seasons.
Yeah, like he wasn't good. I think he just had a few decent postseason starts, but that was about it.
His 2009 season was pretty solid. It was a 4.04 ERA, which that year was a 1.14 ERA plus. So you'll take it. And that was the first year they got him. Here's his postseason with the Yankees was 7 games, 39 innings, 5.08 ERA. So, dude, he definitely wasn't worth the money.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting to like look back on these guys and see like what actually took place. But I see a lot of people in the chat saying that the Brewers came out and said that Josh Hader's on the trade block. Now, I find that kind of interesting, if true, only because the Yankees have been linked to him for years, and a trade has never gotten done. So I don't know if this year it could be a possibility. I mean, Hader in that bullpen would be stacked.
Yeah, so I saw somebody bring up Hader on Yankees Twitter the other day, and it was like the depths of Yankees Twitter. It wasn't like anybody too important. But I looked him up, and I saw that he really didn't have the greatest 2020 stats. But I'm looking at his game log right now, and he pitched in 21 games, and he only allowed a run in 4 of them. So literally, if that could happen, I would be head over heels, like excited.
What would be like an ideal package you think it would take?
Yikes! I don't know, man.
I would assume Clint would have to go.
Oof, and like I don't know if I want that to happen.
I know.
I mean, dude, could you imagine a world where like, okay, what if it's, I don't know, we're going nuts here, but Clint for Hader, straight up. They get Hader. They sign Gardy. That's your offseason.
Ooh, Kyle.
We just got done saying we think Clint could be an all-star. So
I know.
That's why I don't think that's what I think should happen.
If I'm being honest, I'm saying no keeping Clint, not signing Gardy, but signing Rosenthal.
Keeping Clint, not signing Gardy. You think Rosenthal's going to be that expensive?
I don't know, but you're probably saving some money, no?
Yeah. You would think that they'll get as close to that luxury tax as possible, and I think they're right around 11 million left. The other thing that's weird is they've got like more than 40 men on the roster right now. They've got a clear space.
Yeah, they need like one more spot to open up?
Yeah, or something like that. Now that they got Tyone for guys that weren't on the 40-man, I think they have 2 spots to clear again. So at some point, they're going to have to do like a 3-for-1, or they're going to have to like DFA Greg Allen.
I mean, great Yankee career. I mean, Kyle, if that happens, you're definitely going to have to make like a Greg Allen highlight video. Like, dude, have that in your drafts.
Just like a blank black screen for like 30 seconds. Dude, how about the day after the Yankees signed Kluber? I wanted to see what his 2020 season was like, and I learned that he pitched 1 inning, literally 1 inning, and I posted the highlights. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Talking Yanks, and I was like, 2020 Corey Kluber highlights with like the alert emojis and stuff, like all pumped up. And it was an 8-minute video. It was the 1 inning he pitched the whole season, and that was it. Like literally,
that's amazing.
Every single pitch. And
that's like when
what it's worth, like, good inning.
When Ellsbury, like the Yankees finally like dropped him, people were just like posting like 5-second just black videos, like Ellsbury's highlights in New York. Also, this might be a hot take, but Ellsbury's time when he was on the field with the Yankees wasn't that bad. I don't know if that's a hot take, but
no, it's not. It's really not. It wasn't.
He wasn't that bad.
It wasn't good. Wasn't worth the money, but he wasn't that horrible.
I know, and the fact that like he just couldn't stay on the field hurt him the most.
Yeah, which okay, he wasn't worth the money. Let's not get too deep into we think Ellsbury's good.
No, yeah, I'm not saying he's great.
He never, dude. Oh my god. Okay, no, he sucked.
Really?
Like his 2014 was kind of good. His 2015 was pathetic. So was his 2016. His 2017.
Didn't he start off 2015 like crazy? I could have sworn he started off batting like over 300.
Let's see. 2015, he was batting. Holy hell, you're not kidding. He was batting. He played the whole entire time and was batting over 300 until July 24th. He was at 302. But his OPS was 755. That was like probably right before we all learned that like OPS was the end all be all. That was probably like right before, like 2015. I probably started getting into the OPS weeds when I was arguing with people about how good Aaron Judge is, stuff like that. And now I can't let go of it. So, yeah, Ellsbury was batting 302, and then his season finished 257. So from July 25th through the end of the season, he batted 221 with a 588 OPS. That was like the beginning of the end for
right. The rise and fall of Jacoby Ellsbury. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap things up for us tonight. We started off talking about Tanaka, worked our way to Ottavino, all the way to Jacoby Ellsbury. So listen, it's just a day in the life with us.
This is how you know that I have to watch too much John Boy and Jake talking because this is what happens to them.
Is it
the hottest topic in Yankees land, and they end up talking about like Chad Green's cousin that they met one time at like a barbecue or something.
Yeah, that's just how it goes in the offseason. Typical offseason stuff. But yeah, Kyle, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate everyone in the chat who stuck in for all 30 minutes tonight. Appreciate you all. You guys know the deal. I will be live once again tomorrow night. We're doing these nightly all off season. So yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, do what you got to do. Appreciate you all, and we will see you next time. Peace.